Welcome to Flash Tutorial 67, Trajectory using ActionScript. I'm going to start with a new FLA, going to ActionScript 2, and keeping the rest of the default. Now a little history, a little bit before I get started. A few years ago I tried to find a formula or an FLA that I could understand, and I couldn't even come close. So I dug out the physics books, went through it, and the problem that I seen was that in the physics books, naturally, when you come down the page, that's a negative y. It's going down negatively. Flash, if you start up here at 0 and go down, that's positive. So what I had to do was, for myself, was take the formulas, push them in and play around with them, and this is what I came up with. If someone has something easier to understand, please let us know. I'm going to start off by calling this first layer ball, and going down here, making this to fit, and I'm going to draw a ball using my oval tool. I want it to be red on the fill and black on the stroke, and I'm going to make a little ball. There it is. Highlight this ball, come up to modify, convert it to a symbol, make sure a movie clip is selected, and BALL_MC, copy that name, open the properties panel. It's a movie clip ball, and we're going to give it the instance name ball_MC, and there it is in our library. Now I'm going to go through this quite slow because I want everyone to have a chance of doing it. Let's lock that ball layer. Let's insert a layer, call it button, BUTTON, and again pick up your oval tool and pick up a different color here. Let's go green. And holding your shift down, make sure you have that oval tool. Holding your shift down, make a button right over the top of that as best you can, like that. This is locked, so we're not bothering that layer. With your selection tool, modify, convert it to a symbol. This one's going to be a button, and it's going to be called a shoot button, SHOOT_BTN. Copy that. Open your properties panel. It's still highlighted, and paste in that instance name. Lock that balls layer and insert another layer. Call it frame, FRM, LABs as in frame labels, and select that first frame there. Get your text tool. Doesn't matter what color we have, all the other layers are locked, and somewhere here put a 1. It is a 1. Go to this next. Actually, I want a better font than that, because I don't like that font. That I have blue high. I'm going to go to Verdana, way down the bottom for a font. Verdana, good. And then come here. I'm still on that frame's labels. Insert a keyframe. It copies it and just turn that into a 2. So I know my labels. 1, 2. On the buttons label here, insert keyframe, and here insert keyframe. So everything now is on both of those frames. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select the buttons layer, insert a layer, and call it clock, CLOCK, clock. Select that first frame. Make sure you got your text tool again, and put a text box. Make sure this one's dynamic text, and let's call it CLOK_TXT, and make sure dynamic text is selected. I'm just going to pick up my selection tool and check this one. This should be static text. Oops, that's under frame labels. I'm opening my frame labels. I just want to make sure this is static text. No. So go back, open your frames label layer on that first frame, and make sure this is static text. Don't have to give it any name. And make sure that this one is static text. It wouldn't be anything catastrophe. It's just doing it correct. Lock all those layers. And now go back to that clock layer, unlock it, and here it is, this clock layer. My selection tool, I'm double clicking here, and I'm going to put 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to pull that to make sure I can display my 3 zeros. That's my clock text. I'm locking all the layers. Unlock just the balls layer, and I want you to select it. You might not see it because it's underneath this item here, but let's look at its coordinates. And I'm going to make mine 70 on the X and 300 on the Y. Okay, 70 and 300. Then I'm going to go here to my second frame, and I got to do the same thing, highlight it, 70 and 300. Go to the button one and give that the same coordinates, 70, 300 on both frames. I have to select it till it's up here. Make sure you're doing the right thing. 70, 300. Make sure all your layers are locked. Select this top layer, insert layer, action script, yes. Click here, insert blank keyframe. So I have 2 keyframes here. Select the first one, and we got a whole bunch of typing to do. Type. There it is. We got some variables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 variables. The first one is called in the small I vel, V-E-L, colon, number equals 7, semicolon. Number turns blue. Make sure this is a colon. Make sure there's a semicolon here. You can write that once, copy and paste it, and change it instead of in as in instantaneous, hor as in horizontal, H-O-R. It's equal to 0. Paste it again. This is my vertical, V-E-R, V-E-L, as in velocity, horizontal velocity, vertical velocity. This is equal to 0. This is called angle, A-N-G-L. It's 45, as in 45 degrees. This is my time total, T-I-M-E-T-O-T, small t for time, big T for the tot, time tot. That's 0 when we start. We need gravity. Gravity is 9.8 from your physics books. Another variable called vertical height. That's how tall high this ball is going to be at a given time. V-E-R, small v, capital I, H-I-G. That's set at 0 to start. And time in it, T-I-M-E-I-N-T. That's the instantaneous time. And there's going to be like 100 instantaneous times that we're going to plot for this ball. And we have a stop, open close bracket, semicolon, so it sits on this first frame. There's that shoot button we just made, S-H-O-O-T, and I probably have a capital S, yes. So let's make a capital S. Shoot button, on press. On press should be blue, small o, capital P, equals function, that term's purple, open and close bracket. There's the open bracket for my function, my open curly bracket right here. And as soon as you start typing, you'll get this, usually this closed curly bracket comes up. In between those two brackets, this is what I have. Horizontal, H-O-R-V-E-L, that's one of my variables. And it's equal to math, M-A-T-H, capital M, period, COS as in cosine, that will turn blue, open bracket, there's angle, that's one of my variables, the asterisk, multiply, math, M-A-T-H, period, P-I as in pi, they're capitals, this will turn blue, divided by 180 degrees, or 180, close bracket. There's the asterisk sign again. In this case it turns purplish. Open bracket. There's my INVEL, small I, capital V. That's my instantaneous, any given time, my velocity. Close bracket, semicolon. And you can basically copy this line and paste it in, except now we're going to be for the vertical, VER instead of horizontal. And this is going to be the sine of that same angle. So instead of cosine, sine, the rest of the line stays the same. The next line, time total, small t, capital T, that's one of our variables, equals, and I have -2 there. That's how I get my, I deal around the fact that the axis is opposite on the y compared to a physics book and what Flash does. There's an asterisk, it turns purple, open bracket, vertical velocity, small v, capital V, VER, capital VEL, close bracket, divided by GRAV, which is the gravity, semicolon. And I'm tracing two traces here. Trace turns blue, open bracket, quotation mark, time total. You can write, this is just words, there's no reference to anything. Close quotation marks, close bracket, semicolon, and you could just take this line, copy it, paste it, and take those open and closed quotation marks off, and this should turn black. This will be green up in here. And in my action script here, I got ball written with a small b. It should be a capital B. Later on, I'll find that error, that's wrong, and I'll fix it. But if you want to make it a capital B right now, go ahead. Ball underscore MC, that's our movie clip ball, period, VX, that's a parameter we're going to set when we shoot this thing, equals 3, semicolon, and also go to and stop, open bracket, quotation mark, shoot, close quotation mark, close bracket, semicolon, and at the same time I'm going to trace, open bracket, quotation mark, shoot, close quotation mark, close bracket, semicolon, close curly bracket. Now it seems like a lot, but this is going to be the easiest way to do this. That's when the shoot button gets pressed. This is all on frame 1. If we tried it now, I think we're going to get some errors, but certainly what we should see, if we are allowed to, we should see this trace right here. Let's just test it, see if we can get that. Oh, I forgot to embed my fonts, but when I press this, it should say time, and there's my times. Let's click on this second frame of this action script layer and type. We'll do the same thing, put some code in, give you some explanation. We'll start with a stop, S-T-O-P, open close bracket, semicolon. Now this is called an interval, what we're doing here. And it's an interval that's going to give us some counts. Function, F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, turns purple, and the name of this interval is called callback. Open and close bracket. There's an open curly bracket for this function. Here's that clock text, C-L-O-K underscore T-X-T, period. T-E-X-T, that will turn blue, plus plus, semicolon. This means add 1 to it, increment it. Here's one of those variables that we just talked about, time instantaneous, INT, equals clock text. You can just copy this and paste it here. divided by 100. Don't forget the semicolon at the end of this line. So we're going to take this count and take 1/100th of it, because we're going to have all these little spots, 100 of them. Now it says if, open bracket, if turns purple, clock text. You can copy it and paste it. If it's greater than or equal to 100. Don't forget the closed bracket at the end of this line. That means I've counted 100 of these intervals, and that's as high as I want to go. If that happens, we're going to clear interval, CLEAR, capital INTERVAL. That will turn blue if it's spelt right. And the interval we're going to clear, first of all, open bracket, is called interval, and that's going to be right down here. See this? We'll see it in a minute. Close bracket, semicolon. Copy that, paste it in the next line, and just add this capital I, capital D. That's just a name I gave the second interval that we're going to do. We're going to reset when we reach this count of 100. Now, the ball is going to be put back to those parameters that we got on the beginning. And I'm going to go back and check. So I'm going to go back to my main timeline. I'm going to just select my ball, highlight it. I think it was 70 on the X and 300. So lock that layer, open that actions layer here. So 70 on the X, so this will be 70 in my case, and this will be 300. So this says ball underscore MC, that's that movie clip, period, underscore Y, that's the Y axis, is equal to 300. And again, ball underscore MC underscore X is equal to 70. And this CLOK underscore text period text equals 0. We want to reset that because we want to be able to have this is going to allow another ball to come. Not only is it going to count the 100 for us and give us the spaces, it's going to give us another ball, so another ball will come. And then go to and stop, small g, small t, capital A, capital S, open bracket, quotation mark, START, capital S, close quotation, close bracket, semicolon, and at the end of this there should be 2 close curly brackets. So far so good. This is what actually, this function wouldn't work unless we call it, and we're calling it callback. So here's how we're doing it. We're making a variable. It's called interval. We just use that name right here. This is how we're resetting it. This is how we're calling it. So variable interval colon, it's a number, turns blue, equals set interval. This is the part of the syntax. Small s, capital I, that turns blue. Open bracket, callback, that's the name of the function, comma. And this 50 says every 50 milliseconds that this is going to call this. So that's quite fast, and it's not based on the frame of the time frame rate of the program. It's independent of that. So every 50 milliseconds, it's going to refresh it so we can see that ball go to different spots. Make sure to end this line with a closed bracket and a semicolon. Now we're going to do the same, similar here. It's a function. This time is called add ball. Small a, dd, capital BALL, open and close brackets. And this is the formula that's going to give me the instantaneous height at any given point of that ball. So VER, capital HIG, that's one of our parameters, equals VER, capital VEL, that's another one of our parameters, asterisk, as in multiply, time taught, small t, capital T, there's another asterisk to multiply, time instantaneous, small t, capital I, plus, so it's all that, plus, just moving it over here, there's that plus sign, open bracket, again, time taught, small t, capital T, there's a multiplied by, again, time initial, INT, or instantaneous, asterisk, multiply again, another open bracket, time taught, asterisk, again, we're multiplying it, time instantaneous, close bracket, and what this section right here is really the same as writing time total and time instantaneous squared, like the power 2. And I don't know how you code a power 2 other than telling it to multiply it by itself. Again, close bracket. There's another asterisk for multiplying by grav. That's one of our grav, one of our variables. Close bracket, divide that by 2, semicolon. Here we got underscore MC, ball underscore MC. Now the X or the Y position is going to be based on all these factors. It's going to be based on what count we are. There's a total of 100, and the vertical height at any given time is going to be given to that ball. So the underscore Y is equal to open bracket, vertical height, VER height, that's variable right there, multiplied by 50. This is one of the things I had to play around with to get it to fit on the stage that I was using. Close bracket, and same with this one, plus, and this might be have to be 300, because I think that's the original position, and we'll just do that for now. I think that was the original position of that ball on the, no, let's not change that. We'll leave that for now. This may not be, okay, back here, same thing, underscore MC. This is the X of the ball, underscore MC, and this is a parameter that we're going to change and increment so that the ball has a velocity that accelerates. Like the top one up here, we have another variable. It's called interval ID. That's the one that's being reset up here when we reach that 100 count. It's equal to set interval, same as this line. This time, open bracket, add a ball, that's the name of the function, and it's based, comma, and it's based on 50, which is 50 milliseconds, close bracket, semicolon. I'm back on the main timeline. I'm locking the actions layer. I'm selecting this frame labels layer, unlocking it, selecting frame, the first frame, which is called 1, and open it up here, and I want to type in here start, S-T-A-R-T. Click on the next one, call this shoot, capital S-H-O-O-T, and you can see little flags went in here to say now they have a label, and that's the, if you open the action panel for example, that's when we're telling it to go to and stop shoot. And somewhere here it should say go to and start. Right here, go to and stop on the start. Now I got to go back through my action script, because I think when I did my ball right here, this has to be a capital B. You may not have this problem because I'm cutting and pasting. There's a capital B here. Make sure that. And in frame 2, I think I did the same thing. You may have picked it right up. B here, capital B, capital B. Capital B, capital B, and here. And if I go back to scene 1 again, click on unlock the clock layer and make sure this is highlighted. Open the properties panel. You have to highlight it again, select it again, make sure you're looking at the clock text, and right here, embed it, click that. I want uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and punctuation, and over here that says OK, you can't see it, click OK. And now with a little bit of luck, this should do something. So I'm happy with that. These just reference points that I said I think I had a problem with. Yes. And this counts to 100 and the ball hits. Now, okay, so I know what the problem is. It's when we're sending the ball back. If I look at my ball for a minute, unlock that layer, highlight what's my ball, and again, remember it was 70 on the X and 300 on the Y. So somewhere we're resetting that, and I think it's here. And this might have to be made 300 right here. See where I am? I'm at this function. I'm on the second frame of the actions panel. I'm down where this add ball function is, and this is where I had it originally when I did my, that's going to be 300, and I think that will put it back where it's supposed to be. Oh, perfect. Now you can play around with this to increase the speed, and you can play around with it to increase its height. I'm going to do eventually another tutorial, I'm not sure what number it will be, where I'll allow you to adjust this. Now let's go back and in our action codes and remove any traces. We don't need them. There's none here on this second frame. There's none on the second frame, but on the first frame there's a couple traces. Let's just highlight them out or comment them out with 2 backslashes. Comment it out, and one more. Good. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.